I still get leads, but I cannot convert them.
You're not asking enough. Lead with a need. Money is only an issue in the absence of value. Our topic today, tell me all about it. Tell me what you want to know.
My problem is that I still get leads, but I cannot convert them. I feel I'm like very nervous when I'm talking on the phone with them, and maybe they can feel it. And I started networking a lot, and I offer, I did offer free sessions, with complimentary sessions to some of people that I feel like they're influential and maybe can afford my new prices.
Cool.
But sometimes they sound excited and say yes, but in a couple of weeks they say oh no, life is busy, or they just find some excuse
Okay. So
to
they're
get out.
excited on the phone and then they kind of backpedal when it gets real.
Yeah, well, usually I just do it in person, like when I
hmm
meet them.
hmm
Yeah, because it is easier for me to see a person in front of me and to talk
Cool.
to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that I have this good energy, and people usually like me. So I'm trying to use this. So
Good.
yeah, they usually say yes, and when they're back and forth, we're texting and calling each other and talking about it, and then suddenly oh sorry, I shouldn't have said yes because I know that I'm so busy right now.
hmm
And it was the case for 3 or 4 of last of my last offers.
hmm
So I'm kind of feel down at this point
Yeah.
because nothing works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nothing has
So yeah.
worked so far, but you can definitely turn the tide of that because it's a numbers game. So it's just about putting more volume out there, getting more people their offers. So let's break it down piece by piece. When you're doing the gift card offer, if you were to put a number on it, how many gift cards have you given, let's say so far, let's say since the beginning of this year?
Yeah, it's about 10. Maybe I should do more.
Yes,
Yeah.
you totally got it. Yes, it's all about volume. So here's the
Yeah,
way you want to look at it.
two of them said yes. So one I already did, and yeah, but she didn't purchase a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but another one is happening next week.
Oh, that's great.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
two said yes and still another, or that one coming up is part of the two?
yes,
She's part of the two.
yes, she is one of
Okay.
the two. Yes.
Okay, so here's what I would say. So I would say, yes, this is working because, here's what we know statistically. When people know, trust, and like you, and you've already noticed that, people like you in person, you have a good energy. So when that happens, when people know, trust, and like you, and when you combine that with having a good offer, and what I mean by having a good offer is I mean something that's an irresistible deal, something that people would feel silly giving up, and also something that is personally meaningful to them because it has to be something that's going to bring their life value. So when those two things are true, they like you give them a good offer. Statistically, 30% of people will say yes to that offer. So the fact that you've had two yeses of 10, I would say this is a win right here. I think this is performing pretty true to what we would expect. I mean, you're one down. I mean, if you had asked 11 people, maybe you would have gotten three yeses, but you're really, really close on the results that I would expect. The issue is that you've only asked 10 people. So we need to really pump up the volume on that. And a good way of thinking about it is for example, when you think of the number of clients you want per month, what is that number for you? Is it one a week? Is it two a week? What's it look like?
No, one a week would be wonderful for me because I'm
Cool.
still part-time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, if you're part-time, how many hours are we talking about? Is it 10, 15, 20 hours? What are we looking at?
20 hours. Yeah.
20 hours. Okay, good. Yeah, if it's less than 20, I would say, ooh, maybe one a week isn't truly realistic. But at 20 hours, I think one a week could be realistic. So maybe even one every other week would be better for your time, depending on how much you outsource, because there's a lot of pieces, a lot of moving parts to a session, and it's a lot of hours. So, but if the goal is one a week, you want to think of it like this. Okay, I need 4 shoots per month. And if we know the statistic that 30% of people will say yes, that simply means you need to ask 3 people every week to get that one yes. So right now, here we are, and we're, 6 months into the year. And so at this point, you should have asked 6 times 12 people. You should have asked 72 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's the difference. So you've asked 10 people, and 10 people was enough to guarantee the results you saw. You saw 2 yeses. Would have loved to see 3 yeses, but I'm not going to split hairs here. That's still pretty good results, 2 out of 10 yeses. So now it's just a matter of like, okay, how do you get to asking 3 people every week? So here's some ideas on this. So you're already out networking, right? How much networking are you doing per month?
Yes, now I'm like at 3 networking events a week.
Oh, good job. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to do like as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of the groups like I see them like regularly,
Yep.
like every month or every 2 weeks. But some
Good.
events like they're like completely new people. Also, although like it's like Seattle City Chamber,
Yeah.
and it's huge. So every event I see new people, and it's kind of
Mhm.
hard to build the connections.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm on it.
Well, let me recognize some wins here for you too. And if you haven't read this book already, I very much recommend the book The Gap and the Gain. Have you read that book?
No, not yet.
Okay, it is so good. And I'll tell you the overarching theme of the book. The idea is that as entrepreneurs, tell me if this sounds like you, we are always thinking really ambitiously. We're always like, oh, I want to be here. I want to be here, but oh my gosh, I'm all the way back here. And so we feel this sense of, I'm in the gap. I'm here. I want to be there. And I'm so frustrated that I'm not achieving what I want. So, what the book
Yeah.
talks about is it talks about gain thinking. So thinking about gains is we measure backwards and we say, okay, but wait, look how much I have achieved. So I want to recognize some gains for you here because there's a lot that you're saying that you may not be counting as a win. So I'm counting it as a win for you. Okay, number one, you have asked 10 people and you did see great results from that. So bravo, you're putting yourself out there. You're elevating your sales skills, like total win there. So that's awesome. And then the other thing is that you've already recognized that you have a strength in when you're in person, you're good at asking people and people are, matching your vibe. And so that's really good too. And total win is the fact that you're doing networking in a great quantity. Like 3 per week is admirable. That's wonderful. I usually recommend 2 per week when you're in growth mode. So you are above and beyond my expectations. So all of this is really winning. The one element that's not happening is that you're not asking enough. And the reason I'm suspecting is partly because, maybe you've just started this in the last 6 months. So relationships may not be fully formed yet. But I think as you start to build these relationships, there's other ways you can strengthen them. So first up, you are seeing people in person. You're seeing some people regularly and frequently, other people less so. The fact that you're attending a lot is going to help that frequency. Have you considered friending people on social media or finding other ways that you can help your paths cross more? Because that could help too. Are you friending people on social?
Yes, I'm doing
Good.
that a lot, and I do all social, and I'm trying to be
Cool.
very active, like commenting, encouraging, like I'm all there.
Oh, good. Man, you get all the gold stars today. This is awesome. Okay. Yeah, because friending people on social media is so helpful because you get inside scoops in what's happening in their life. And it can kind of prompt your imagination to say, well, what would these people really value? And when you know them on a personal level, you're going to know what they would value because that's another important piece of the puzzle. We want to get to that 30% yes rate. And as you've been offering people, they've been saying stuff like, well, I'm too busy. And, I got to honor that. Of course, we're busy, right? But people are only busy when it feels like it's something they can put off. But if they understand, if it deeply resonates with them, why they must do this now, they're going to be less likely to want to put it off because they want to, once you reveal that pain point of theirs, they want to scratch that itch. They want to solve that. So when you're going in, one way you can create your offers is to think about the idea of lead with a need. And that means like, I think this person would really value this. And even one step stronger than that, I think this person needs this type of session to feel successful. So let me give you examples of something that would drive it from a want to a need. For example, let's say you're following someone on social media and you see, oh, they change their hair regularly. Like, I'm totally one of these people. I change my hair all the time. So you could wisely say to me, oh my gosh, I love your new haircut. I noticed your LinkedIn has a totally different photo than your current blonde hair. And it's like, oh my gosh, I know I've been meaning to change that. Yeah, you really should, because we know in marketing that it makes such a difference if people can know us personally and identify who we are. So, you know what? Let me do this for you. I have a need to build my portfolio and headshots. You have a need to get these new updated portraits done. Why don't we make this a win-win? Come on in and try a session with me. So you see how that is now, there's more urgency. It's going to be harder for them to say
Mm-hmm.
no to that. And there's
Yeah.
all kinds of examples like that. Like, let's say you see on social media or just through chatting with people that they have a high school senior who's graduating. They're just starting senior year. Now you can say to them, hey, look, I know it's the summer. This is going to be over in the blink of an eye. But did you know that our local high schools have yearbook deadlines of September? So if we're going to get that new senior photo for your son, we should do it these months right here now in summer. If you're interested, I'm looking to build my senior portfolio. You could be a help to me. I could be a help to you. Let me give you a gift card and come and try this with me. So now it's like, oh, you're right. Yes, he's a senior all year long, but we have to do it June, July, August, because September, the yearbook deadlines are going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is the way I
That's
want you to
great.
think of things. Maternity is going to be easy. You're pregnant, you need this shoot.
Yeah.
Anniversary is another one that's got that urgent deadline. Hitting a special birthday, like I'm turning 40, or there's all kinds of ways you could think about that. So really do your homework, get to know people, and think on what do they value and what do they need. Because if you're scratching that itch for what is the need, they're going to be much more responsive and respond with urgency instead of kicking it down the road.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you one more question?
Of course.
I feel like I don't have this feeling who to ask. Maybe I
Okay.
ask people who cannot afford it,
Mhm.
and then I have like this feeling that they just think about the prices and then they say no. Because I
Okay.
meant like, yeah, usually like I'm starting to talk about like gift card and free session. They like, yes, all in. And then I
Mhm.
mentioned like $500 credit and that
Yeah.
two portraits can be purchased with this credit, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
like I
And then
can
they
see
start,
the
"Whoa,
change.
what am I getting into?"
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So remember this phrase, you'll hear me say it all the time. Money is only an issue in the absence of value. So if they feel like, oh, this is just a lark, wouldn't it be nice to have photos? I mean, that's not as strong and as deeply resonant as, oh my gosh, you're right. My son is graduating. This is my last year with him. We need these senior photos and we need them now because I'm going to make a tribute page in his yearbook, I mean, it's like that's
Yeah.
like, ooh, okay, this is building the value. So part of it is I think as you get better at identifying what would this person value and where's that Venn diagram, what they need, what I have to offer, that we're both winning on a session, I think that will start to change. The idea of this is too expensive will start to go away. So basically anyone at all can be your client if they value what you do, but you need to help them understand the value and help them understand why this is so important. So now on to the next question. Okay, but might it be easier if you find people who immediately have the ability to spend big with you? Yes, that would be an easier method. So, as you're going through, you want to think of that as you're giving gift cards, that you're giving them to people who you believe value the session, or that you believe have discretionary income that could spend easily, or that you think could be great evangelists for you that could spread your name out in the community. Because I will tell you, when I was building my business, you know how I'm saying you have to ask 3 people for every one yes. So I
Hmm.
asked to the tune of 150 people my first year. That's who I was asking.
Oh,
It was like,
wow.
yeah, every week, just asking, 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 always thinking, who's the next person I'm going to serve? How can I help someone? Always making that ask. And so, yeah, almost nobody paid session fee my first year full time. But when I was going in and doing that, I noticed that I did have 2 no sales and I did have a handful of low sales. I also had $10,000 sales. So that's fine too. But in the process, I realized that the people who were actually spending less because budget was tight or because they just weren't prepared for a big spend, they became my to this day lifelong best evangelists. Because what happens is people can pay you in favors, in time, or in money. And so some people would just effortlessly pay $7,000 and the scales were balanced because I gave them a lot and they gave me a lot and everything was wonderful. But some people really valued the experience so, so much, but they had to be sensitive to their pocketbook. And they said, this has been so amazing. Oh my gosh, I wish I could buy all of them. I've got to just stick with this, whatever, $1,000 purchase, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
those people then went into the community because they felt that the scales were unbalanced. They were like, I've received so much, but I didn't give Megan enough. So they became massive referrals out in the community, telling everybody about me. And, I have this one client that I think of to this day, 14 years after her complimentary session. She has referred me dozens of clients and she shares my business posts and she tells everyone about me. And she was one of my lowest spenders of all time, but she is to this day my favorite client because of how wonderful she is for the brand and how much she believes in what we're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
don't worry if you have low sales or no sales. As long as you're pulling people who value what you do, that's all you need. And if they're telling you, I don't value this, they're not going to literally say, I don't value this, but they're basically backing away because it's too expensive. And if they're telling you that, that's great. That's good information for both of you because if they're not going to value it enough to try, you don't need to spend the time with them. You can wait
Mm-hmm.
for that better person who's truly going to value you. And then it's going to be a much more
Yeah.
rewarding experience.
Would you say that we need to build a relationship before we ask a
Yes.
person? So like
Yes.
it's not like I see the person like second time in my life and then I ask, what is like the best? Because I don't have
Yeah.
a lot of people that I know very good. So,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I am in the process of building these connections. And
Yeah.
you mentioned like 70 people. I cannot think
Yeah.
about like
Like, who
70
are
people.
70 people? Yeah. Yeah. And in the mix in there, to be fair, it wasn't 100% me making the ask. Sometimes I would do things like, a $99 promo, and it would be like people would be sharing that with their friends. So there was more invitations than just, you come in, you come in, you come in. It was a group effort to bring people in the door, but a lot of it was
Hmm.
through lowering the barrier to entry and welcoming people in with a special offer. So, yes, you should have a relationship if you're going to personally invite them, but it's tough to say exactly when is a relationship developed. It's almost like, sometimes you meet your best friend the first day of high school and you're besties for your whole life. And other times you meet them the day before the week that school closes. So it's kind of like, when will you become friends? That's up to you. If you feel this magical connection and you're really enjoying your time with someone, feel free to offer it on the first point of contact. If it takes a little longer, that's okay too. So the guideline I usually say to myself is serve, serve, ask. I want to
Hmm.
be of service. I want to provide value. I want people to see, that I have the heart of the community. That was actually a term that I didn't coin myself, but someone just saw that in me. And I think I would see that in you too. I think that you have a genuine heart that comes out in the way that you speak to people. So if people see, oh, wow, she really cares about me, she sees me, she values me, then that's going to make it easier for you to make the ask. But if they see you as, oh, she's just money hungry, anything negative
Hmm.
like that, then it's not going to be a good relationship. So find the way to provide for them and care for them, and then it makes it easier to make the ask.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yep. So your mission is you have to continue to build relationships as you're doing, continue to be out there, boots on the ground, meeting people, getting to know them on social media, deepening the relationship day by day. And then you have to be very aware that moving forward every week, you're really asking yourself, who am I going to ask this week? Who am I going to ask this week? And you can prepare yourself by going into a networking event and just brainstorming, who's going to be here today? And who am I going to see? And when I see them, what would they really value? So if your mind is always spinning in that direction, who am I going to see? What are they going to value? What can I offer them? That's when it's going to become easier and easier to make the ask.
Hmm. Yeah. That's a great advice. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah. So everything you're doing times 10. That's all you need to do. But it will get easier because your brain will lock in on what you need to do, and it'll just become second nature to do it right.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, thanks so much.
You got it. All right. Good luck with your marching orders. See where it takes you.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later. Okay.
Bye.
Want to fix your biz? If you're a professional photographer or aspiring pro, you need to join me in the best business group on the internet, Rise to the Top with Megan DiPiero. Ask your business question in the group, and you might just be my next podcast guest. Join now at rttt.life.